Back on January 25th, 2010, I drove home from work, told my wife I have to go to the hospital. She asked what was wrong with my mother. I said, no, it's me. And we drove up around the corner and I passed out, fortunately right by the police station.
So I pulled into the police station and ran into the police station and yelled out, my husband's having a heart attack, I need help. And they came right out with oxygen and a medical kit and called an ambulance, which turned out to be very fortuitous because the ambulance knew where to go. And the ambulance came immediately and took Dick to Mountainside Hospital for care. He was unconscious at the time that he arrived. They took Dick into the emergency room and I met for the first time Dr. Dominic Mariano. And we were there under the pretense of meeting Dr. Charles Goldberg because Charlie was a friend of ours and he said he would meet us at the hospital when we got there. Fortunately for us, between the fact that the emergency room people were there, the ambulance people were there, and our godsend, Dr. Mariano, was on call, they worked on Dick for almost an hour and they were able to rehabilitate his breathing and get his heart started again. At the time when Dr. Mariano took Dick up to the cardiac cath lab to find out what had caused this heart attack, he told me that Dick had a 95% chance of never coming out alive. And I told him, I'm hanging on to that 5% chance. That's all I'm looking at. I have you, I have Dr. Goldberg, I have the amazing staff at this hospital. You're going to bring him out and you're going to bring him out alive and he's going to be fine. And that was my mantra for 7 straight weeks. We went through a lot of close calls and problems. One of the most remarkable, I think, was that Dr. Mariano and Dr. Goldberg went to speak to Fromhold. And at the time, they were doing no dialysis bedside in the intensive care unit. That without the dialysis, Dick was not going to make it to day 4. Thank goodness. Considered what they were saying and decided to try bedside dialysis once again in the intensive care unit. And the miracle began. The recovery of Dick from this extraordinary heart attack. And there was so many moving parts to this recovery. First, I have to give a shout out to the nurses. I have never in my life imagined that people could work so hard and with such love to take care of Dick. The very first night, the nurses on duty with, I believe it was 23 different drips and 2 computers attached to Dick, said to Dr. Mariano, we've never had a patient this sick. Please stay overnight, be here for us if we need you. And he did. He stayed in the hospital that night, and all night long, the 2 nurses went back and forth from computer to computer and kept him alive. Without that, I don't think that they would have made it to day 2. So I was so grateful to them for the care and the love that they showed him from the very first night that he arrived. Dr. Stephen Thompson, was at his bedside all the time, providing us with some good humor because I used to joke that Dick would not respond to anyone calling him Richard or Mr. Schwartz, and I had a big sign over his bed, call me Dick. And Dr. Thompson said, absolutely not, he's Mr. Schwartz and he will remain Mr. Schwartz for as long as I know him unless I play golf with him. And on that day he can be Dick.
And he doesn't play golf, so.
Dr. Fortunato was there all the time helping with his breathing and his recovery. Dr. Donald Syracuse was the doctor who was willing to step up and do a tracheotomy on Dick when a number of other doctors declined to do so because they felt that he was too sick. And he felt that it was something that was totally within his purview and not a problem, and he made us feel so much calmer and so much better. Then, of course, there's Kathy Eldridge, who held my hand and guided me through so many turbulent times. Then there was Dr. Chima, who came in and put a pacemaker and a defibrillator in Dick's heart. When he left Mountainside to go to Hackensack, because that's where it needed to be done, and I was terribly nervous about him making the trip, and everyone assured me that he was going to be fine with that trip, and he was on his way to recovery. And the whole time that Dick was in this hospital, I have to say, I kept saying to everyone on staff and everyone who visited, Dick is going to be fine. We're going to get through this together. We're going to come out the other end, and he's going to recover from this because of all the love and the care that he's been receiving for the 7 weeks that he's here. And fortunately, I was correct.
I really cannot speak highly enough of the nurses, the doctors, and the staff. It was a horrible place to be because nobody likes being in the hospital, but they all made it as comfortable for me as it could be. And when I woke up and was, introduced to my doctor, he gave me the good news I could play golf again. That was my first question. To this day, because I still come here for cardiac rehab, it's just an amazing place to be.
And I call Dick my miracle man. And he is definitely a miracle because of all of the work and love that was put into his care. And Kathy knows I joke all the time about Mountainside being the little engine that could. It made it up the mountain, and he came down the mountain very well, and it's all thanks to all the care and the attention and the intelligence that went into his recovery and all the people who had a hand in it to make him back to the way he was before. So thank you to everybody. That's the biggest thing that I can say. How do you thank someone for saving a life? I don't think you ever can. But for as much as we can today, thank you to everybody in this hospital.
Amen to that.
I came in on Martin Luther King. It was a Monday night. I came through the ER. I wasn't feeling very well.
When I brought my wife in, she was in very bad shape. The ER staff worked extremely hard. They did everything they possibly could.
I was deteriorating really badly. That Tuesday, doctors were coming in and out to check on me. They said I was answering questions that they were asking me, but apparently my body was in like a shock. And then that Tuesday night, they decided that they were going to intubate me because I just had progressed worse.
I met two of the greatest doctors up there, Dr. Shahada, Dr. Saleh. They went above and beyond. They contacted my wife's doctors in New York, found out her diagnosis, what was wrong with her. Those 10 days been amazing. Brian, the head nurse in the ICU, he was great. All ICU staff was unbelievable.
They went above and beyond and then some for us, and literally I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for everybody. Everybody was hands on. After ICU, I was then admitted to the 4th floor, Fort East, I believe it was, and to the nursing, to the CNAs up there, they were wonderful.
Doctors, medical staff reaching out on their days off, going above and beyond. Coming in 2-3 hours prior to their shift to check up on my wife. Dr. Maroon was amazing. His swift actions and his judgment calls. There's the reason I'm sitting next to my wife today.
Dr. Patel too, right?
Dr. Patel.
Both the brother and the sister.
We have a lot of big events this year, family-wise, graduations, recitals, rehearsals. And because of the medical staff, starting from the emergency room to ICU, unbelievably working around the clock, I'll have my wife, my kids will have their mother at all those events, and it's something, it's unbelievable. Words can't explain.